السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعزائي المشاهدين أبنائي الطلاب المستوى الثالث الثانوي، سعيد أن ألتقي بكم هذا اليوم في درس من دروس اللغة الإنجليزية، المراجعة اللغوية الثالثة، بحيث أننا كنا قد ناقشنا النقطة الأولى من المراجعة اللغوية الثالثة وهي المبني للمجهول. اليوم سنأتي على بقية النقاط. Let's start with the language review 3. The rest topics that was left after the first lesson or the first topic, the past. Today inshallah we are going to continue the other topics. Let's start with the use of the past as a revision. Here we will start again, or we explain again some points of the past voice as a revision for what we have taught before. As you know, this is the structure of the past. Object, then verb to be, then the past participle. You have to keep this structure. You have to keep this formation in your mind. And the other changes that happen to this information are that this information takes just to the verb to be. Look. You see? So the verb to be, it changes according to the tense. What tense is used? For example, for the present tense, here we use present simple. For example, we use the verb to be am, is with singular, and we use are with plural. Okay? Also, are can be used with you, even if it is singular. With the past simple, we use was and were. Was for singular, were for plural, and also for you. With the continuous, okay, we can use being here. Being for using present continuous or past continuous. For perfect, we use verb to be, the past participle of the verb to be, which is been. And finally, we use be with the future. When we talk about future using past voice, we use be for future and other modal verbs. And you don't forget that. Here, continuous, we can use being for present continuous and being also for past continuous. And look, there's a row, go back to was and were and am or is. That means we can use am being, is being, are being with the present continuous, or was being or were being with the past continuous. Also, been can be used with the perfect here. Also, present perfect or past perfect. Have been, has been, that's for present perfect, or had been for the past perfect. Then, as I said before, be used with the future and other modal verbs. Let's have some examples here about the passive. Let's choose the past here, past simple. Okay, past simple examples. Then, if it is past simple, the structure will be object, was or were, then the past participle. Example, change from active into passive. The doctoress let Edie show out of the hospital. Change it into past. As I said before in the previous lesson, we have to look for the object first, because we are going to start with the object. What's the object? Edie show. Then what comes after according to the formation, according to the structure here? Yes, verb to be. Edie show is a singular and it is past simple, so it should be was. Edie show was. Now, the past participle of the verb or the main verb let, it is let, because it's let, okay? Was let, then the complement of the sentence, out of the hospital. Okay? Edie show was let out of the hospital. Let me give you more examples now and try to change them into passive. The police arrested a man for dangerous driving. Change into past. Look for the object first, then complete or build on the structure above. It should be a complete sentence now, a passive complete sentence. It will be, a man was arrested for dangerous driving. More examples for passive. My father gave me 2,000 Yemeni riyal last week. By the way, this sentence has two objects, direct object and indirect object. Okay? The direct object is 2,000 Yemeni riyal. The indirect object which comes after the main verb here, الذي جاء بعد الفعل مباشرة وهو الضمير me. Okay, so the pronoun me here is the indirect object that we can start our passive sentence with me. But don't forget, it should be changed into a subject pronoun. It will be I. I was given 2,000 Yemeni riyal last week. You can build another sentence, past sentence, with the second object, 2,000 Yemeni riyal here. Yes, 2,000 Yemeni riyal were given to me last week. But by the way, don't forget to change the pronoun I into, the pronoun me here into a subject pronoun I. And also, what about the other pronouns? Other pronouns, all object pronouns must be changed with the passive sentences into subject pronouns, like this. Him, it will be he. Her, it will be she. Us, we. Them, they. Okay? That is it. That's a quick revision about what we have studied before, the passive. Let's start now our lesson of today, which is as number 2, use of the past continuous. Use of the past continuous. When we use the past continuous, we use the past continuous when we want to set the scene for a story. Set the scene for a story. We are telling a story and we want to motivate or make the scene refresh, active, as if you watch it in a video. You have to use past continuous. Past continuous is very, very important to activate a reader or listener's mind. Let's have an examples. For example, yesterday when I got into the living room, my mother was stitching her dress and my father was watching the TV. You see? Yesterday when I entered the room, when I get into the room, my mother was stitching her dress. As if you watch my mother in a video, that is, she was sewing her dress. Okay? And what about my father? My father sitting and watching the TV. What we can say here is a real scene. Father, mother, father was switching her dress and the mother was watching the TV. This is setting a scene. This is called setting a scene. Past continuous is very important to present an active scene. Okay, another example. Look here. Let's talk step by step about this. Here, what's the structure of the past continuous? The structure is start with the subject, you see. You can see now on the board. Then verb to be, and it is past, it should be was or were. Then the infinitive, the first category of the verb with ing. Okay? Was can be used when we talk about singular subject. Were can be used when we talk about plural subject, or when use the pronoun you even with a singular. Okay. Now this is the example here. When I got into the kitchen, my wife was cooking the food and her daughters were helping her. When I got into the kitchen, my wife was cooking the food. She was busy cooking the food, and you can see her children were helping her washing dishes or preparing some ingredients for cooking. Okay, that is a setting a scene here, as if you see the kitchen, a mother and her children, her daughters, all are in work, the mother cooking, the daughters also helping her. This is setting a scene. This is what we want here. Okay, let's now match the example to the structure. Where is the subject for here? Look, my wife. This is the subject. My wife is the subject. Verb to be was. Infinitive plus ing, cook, then add ing, cooking. This is the first sentence. The second sentence after and, because additional sentence, additional information about her daughters. Where's the subject here? Her daughters. Her daughters, the subject of the second or the additional information. Okay, statement. Verb to be clear, where, then verb with ing, help, okay, then ing helping her. Her complement. More now, let's take examples about past continuous. We were working in the garden when the rain came. Usually, past continuous two events. One was continuing, the other one cut suddenly or interrupted or happened suddenly. What was continuing here? We were working in the garden. Something happened next, okay, or suddenly rain came. Okay, that is, you can imagine or see a video, imaginary video, that's that for people working in the garden. Okay, and the rain came. This is setting the scene. I was sleeping when you called me yesterday. That means something was continuing. I was sleeping. Then suddenly you called me yesterday. A verb less than the other, more than the other. Sleeping, then a phone call came. When Mrs. Brown found her daughter, she was playing happily in the garden. That the daughter was playing happily. Her mother found her. Suddenly, the daughter was playing. You can see the scene of a mother found her daughter suddenly, and the daughter was playing, okay, happily. Let's now go to the number 2 or number 3 point in this lesson of today. What's since verbs followed by an object, then a verb. Since verbs here as see, hear, feel, smell. Okay, these are sense verbs as related to the 5 senses. They call sense verbs. Those sense verbs followed by an object, okay, then verb with ing. Why this structure can be used? Let's see. This structure can be used when they want to continue the scene setting. Again, setting scene. So ing is important here after sense verbs. For example, I heard somebody, he was shouting. I heard somebody, he was shouting. Here, this sentence, the first sentence, 2 sentences now. Look at the board now, you can see 2 sentences. I heard somebody, then he was shouting. Here is a sense verb, and the rule said a sense verb must followed by the ing directly. Okay? Where's the sense verb here? Here is the subject, I. Sense verb, heard. Object, somebody. Okay. Can we write it like this? He was shouting? No, because the rule said a sense verb must follow it directly with the verb with ing. So it should be this. Look at shouting here. This must be kept, and he was must be deleted. Okay, so the answer will be like this. I heard somebody shouting. I heard somebody shouting. Okay, that's because the verb here, sense heard, sense verb, it should be followed by object, then verb with ing. Let me give you more examples about sense verbs. I see something flying. You see, I see something flying. Don't say I see something, it was flying. No, I see something flying. So the scene keep moving and the scene keep active. Okay, more examples. I feel something moving here on my back. Okay, I feel something moving. Yes, the wire of the speaker here. I feel something, not it was moving, or it is moving here, present. You can say present continuous. No, I feel something moving. Okay, another example. I smell something burning. I smell something burning. Still the scene keep it moving. So don't forget, this structure is very, very important. Let's go back to the other topics of the language review 3, which is number 4. The verb to be plus 2 plus infinitive. The verb to be plus 2 plus infinitive. When we use this structure, the verb to be plus 2 plus infinitive can be used, or we can use this structure to talk about future, certain future, by the way, certain future, or forecasts. That's the news of the weather, prediction, you know. So when you predict that something is going to happen, you can use this also. We often see these structures in newspapers. Let's have an example here. The president is to meet the ambassador tomorrow. Is to meet, that means tomorrow, inshallah, the president going to meet the ambassador. But because it's certain future, we delete going, except just is to. Verb to be plus 2 plus infinitive. Is to meet. Okay? This is an easy structure used about future and usually used in the newspapers. More example. The thick fog is to clear this afternoon. This is prediction. Okay? The thick fog is to clear. Not is going to clear, is to clear, as the newspaper headlines here. This afternoon. This is a prediction. Another example. The administration members are to meet next Sunday. Okay, so they set a timetable or schedule that next Sunday, inshallah, will be a meeting. So we can use here the members, the company members, okay, or the administration members are to meet next Sunday. Okay, let me, before last point, give me an example also about prediction. When you look at a baby is sleeping, for example, and this baby starting moving, what you can say here? He's going to wake up. Okay, this is prediction. Okay. He's going to wake up. That is it for a prediction. What's about the last point here? It is about punctuation. Punctuation, علامات الترجيم, and this is very important. Students sometimes don't take care about or don't pay attention for punctuation. Punctuation helps the reader to understand. Okay, just use it for writing here. Okay, so if you want to understand, take care or pay attention for the punctuation. If it is question mark, if there is full stop, comma, and other punctuation markers. Okay, let's see more about punctuation. The markers used to divide pieces of writing into sentences, phrases, etc. These punctuation used to divide pieces of information, maybe sentences or phrases. Okay, we use punctuation markers. Okay, such as full stop or a period in American English also. We can use also question mark if there is a question, direct question, or even indirect question, we can use question mark. Comma for a list of words or list of items. Here we use comma, then we use and before or the final one. Also quotation marks or speech marks, that when the writer talk a real information that sit directly by a character or the main character, and the writer used this or quoted this between two markers. This is called quotation marks or speech marks. You see. Also apostrophe, Ali Iska, for example, that is a part of punctuation. But today, inshallah, at the end of this lesson, we are going to talk about speech marks. Speech marks are inverted comma, okay, inverted commas, which is a pair of signs that are put around words, especially to show that you are quoting what someone has said. To show that you are quoting, that take out what someone has shown or has said. Okay? Example. In newspaper reports, the writer uses a mixture of direct and reported speech for variety and interest. Yes, to keep a reader interesting reading your work or your piece of your text or your passage or your article. So don't make it just using what you have already said you yourself. Mix it with what you said, what you comment, and what people are really said outside on the stage of the accident, the stage of a problem. Okay, got some quotation and put it and use the inverted comma or speech marks here. Okay, that is it. Let's have example. This is from your book, in your published book. Look at this. You see, those are, you see now, the speech marks here. It's a miracle they were found. This is not said by the writer. It is said by whom? By a rescue serviceman. A rescue spokesman said, not the writer, but the writer quote what the serviceman or the rescue man said and put it into between two inverted commas with the speech marks now. What he said, it is a miracle they were found. Okay? And you see there's another comma because he wanted to continue also to quote what he added. He said, a rescue spokesman said, we can't explain it. Who said we can't explain it? The writer? No, the rescue serviceman himself. So it is both between the speech marks or the quoted marks, inverted commas, you see? And another, there is here full stop because he completed now. Let's have more examples. Also in your published book, you can open page 10 and you will see something like this. Here are different, this is a newspaper, a page of a newspaper. In this page, the front page usually take different topics or some information from different topics that is explained in details in the other pages. Here is page 3. You see this? What we have said before, miracle rescue. You see this? Let's circle it here. Make a circle. Yes, like this. Do you see it now? Yes. Let's have present it clearer. Yes, this. Miracle rescue. Read with me, please. 2 swimmers were rescued from the sea during yesterday's storm. It is a miracle they were found, the rescue serviceman spokesman said. We can't explain it. Is all what's written here by the writer or what the writer himself said? No. The writer's words and information, and some are quoted from the character that the writer met before. Okay? Can you now find what's the quoted or reported speech here? Can you find it? Look at it. Look carefully. You see this? Yes. It's a miracle they were found. This is not said by the writer. It is quoted. Okay? Just this? No. And we can't explain it. You see? That's why it is both between speech markers or inverted comma. More example. Also, this is in your Biopolis book, page 8. Do you remember Jane when she opened the window and looked outside, then describes the view outside, or a view from a window? This is the title of the lesson, a view from a window. Look at this, read it from the beginning to the end. Is there any quoted? Is there any reported speech? Look carefully. Jane looked to her left. In the nearby field were more than 20 cows. They were all still laying down, chewing the cud. A cow's mouth never stops moving, she thought. In the field next to the cows were 2 horses, a mare and her 2-week-old foal. Jane watched for a few minutes as he suckled his mother, getting plenty of fresh milk that would make him grow. Is it all what we have read now, written by the writer or said by the writer? Yes, the writer wrote it, but is it said all from the beginning to the end? No, some quoted or reported speech that Jane herself said, and the writer took it exactly to show what Jane said about the view. What's this? Look at it. You see? This is a cow's mouth never stops moving. Who said this? Jane. So the writer put it inside 2 inverted comma or speech marks. Now time to answer the exercises. Workbook, page 17 and 18. Let's answer A and B. Please follow me carefully with the exercises. A. Write the correct form of the verb in practice. Write the correct form. The correct form الشكل الصحيح. ضع الفعل في زمنه أو في شكله الصحيح. قد يكون متعلق بالزمان، مضارع، ماضي، ماضي مستمر، مضارع مستمر، مبني للمجهول. So put the verb into its correct form. Number 1. My cousin to be married next month. Here is to be. The verb be means the infinitive be. In what form must be written here? Think carefully. Yes, it is a certain future. So it should be, my cousin is to be married next month. Is to be married. Verb to be plus to plus infinitive. This is what we talk and what we use when we talk about certain future. What about number 2? When here is wake up. To wake up, we have to work with the wake up now. Yesterday, my mother to work in the kitchen and my little brother to play outside. Here we have wake up, to work, to play. That means wake up, work and play. What are the correct forms of the 3 verbs here? Ready? Let's compare your answer and what's the model answer here. When I woke up, this is past simple. Yesterday, my mother was working in the kitchen and my little brother was playing outside. To set the scene, do you remember that? Okay. When, and usually when here followed by past simple. Okay. What's about number 3? What about number 3? When we saw our father's new car come here along the road, we all to run to meet him. To come and to run. Yes. Okay, there is helping. Here is a since verb. What is this? So what about come now? Think of it. Compare your answer with the model answer now. When we saw our father's new car coming along the road. We all run to meet him. Okay? What about number 4? Think of number 4. These apples to buy were then yesterday, so they should be fresh. Apples, then buy. Can apples buy? Yes. So it is what? Passive. التفاح لا يشتري وإنما يشترى، وبالتالي بنعمل صياغة المبني للمجهول. Yes. Try to answer. Compare your answer now. These apples were bought yesterday, so they should be fresh. More examples? Exercises. Number 5. At the wedding, the men to dance outside when it to start to rain. So, men, dance and rain. What was continuous? What happened suddenly? This is to set the scene. Think of this. Dance and start. The rain start. Compare your answer. At the wedding, the men were standing here, were dancing outside when it started to rain. Past simple. The men were dancing, continuous. The rain came or started to rain. What about number 6? A new road to build soon, and then it will be easier to get to town. Okay? Think carefully. Can a road built or built by somebody else يبنى نفس الشارع؟ ينشئ نفس الشارع؟ إذا صياغة المبني للمجهول here we can use the past. Compare your answer. Model answer. A new road will be built, future here, will be built to the very soon, and then it will be easier to get to town or to the town. 7. Quick, go and check the kitchen. I can smell something to burn. Sense verb, smell. So it should be, compare your answer with the model answer. Quick, go and check the kitchen. I can smell something burning. What about 8? The new hospital to open by the Prime Minister last week. Yes, a new hospital can't open itself, so it's past voice. What's the correct answer? Check it. The new hospital was opened by the Prime Minister last week. Now, the last exercise or exercise B, rewrite these sentences with the correct punctuation. And you know what's punctuation. A piece or different, for example, as question mark or capital letter or full stop, comma, also speech markers or quoted markers. This is what I want. Number 1, look at the first statement in number 1 and try to punctuate it. I don't want to read it really, but I want you to read it and think of it. Now listen. I heard somebody shouting, Dan said, then I saw 2 men running towards us. Punctuate it. Put the markers or punctuation markers from the beginning to the end. You want to check the answer? Let's check. Great. I heard somebody shouting. This is quoted speech, reported speech, not by the writer himself. Okay, what Don said, this is said by Don, so we put it in speech markers. Okay, Don itself, this is a proper noun, must be capital D, not small d. Said, full stop, because we complete now the first sentence. Then I saw two men running towards us. Who said this? The writer? No. This is a compliment, okay, story said by Don himself. So we put it in speech marks or quotation marks. What about number 2? Who were they? Jim asked. And what were they doing? Now check your answer. Compare your answer with the model answer here. Who were they? Question mark, because it's a question. And this question said by whom? By Jim, not by the writer himself. So we put it in quoted marks or speech marks. Jim asked, also capital J because Jim is a proper noun. And what are they doing? This is a second question asked by Jim himself. So we put it in speech marks. Okay? This is about the part of punctuation that we have discussed in language review 3 and the end that we reach it to the end of this language review 3. See you inshallah in the coming language review. Okay? Hoping you a fresh future, and inshallah try to prepare more and listen more and more and more. If you don't understand, check your teachers, ask your friends. Okay, don't worry about English, it will be easy forever inshallah. بهذا نكون أنهينا المراجعة اللغوية الثالثة بكل نقاطها وبكل تفاصيلها ومعلوماتها إن شاء الله. لا تنسوا أن تراجعوا مدرسيكم، تراجعوا زملائكم، متمنيا لكم مستقبلا حافلا بالنجاح والتوفيق، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
نتمنى هيا كي نطمح